It's been a long road over there. It's had some difficulties.
Doing this and know that people are going to be coming back and joining us as they feel comfortable. So we enjoy having the group together today. So thank you. Let us begin our service with a meditation. And just take this time to bring ourselves into the room, our whole selves, body, mind, and spirit. I invite you to close your eyes And just begin to relax, and let's take 3 deep breaths together. Breathing in and breathing out, releasing any stress. Breathing in and breathing out. Just one more time. Breathing in and breathing out. And we take this opportunity to lay down all of our thinking and planning and doing, our worrying. So lay that down right now as we give our attention to our sacred heart space. And let's take some breaths through our heart. And from this sacred space, we bring our full awareness to the one divine presence, the loving presence that we live, move, and have our being in. In this moment, we remember and connect with our true nature, love itself. Not a personal self, separate and alone, but one in union and harmony with all that is. May our collective energy be a beacon of light and love, seen, felt, and experienced around the planet. We are so grateful for this time together, for each other, for our fellowship community, so grateful to know that all is truly well. And together we say, and so it is. So it is. Thank you so much. I have a reading for you today from one of my favorite poets and authors, Mark Nepo. It's from The Exquisite Risk. He writes, if everything is sacred, then why does it feel at times so far away? Perhaps this is part of the human migration to and from what is vital. For the miracle of what is never lacking. It doesn't swell or recede. It is we who, in our humanness, fall in and out of contact with it. When in touch, we are awake. When not, we are asleep or distracted or caught in the pain of living. When feeling the sacred, we are vital, even when in pain. When drifting from what matters, we feel drained of meaning. Though it seems elusive, the sacred is always near. All the spiritual traditions agree that the atom of the sacred is this moment. In this way, living with the sacred means opening ourselves to each and every moment. Thank you, Mark. We're going to stand and sing a fellowship song. And when we're done, we'll take the opportunity to turn to our neighbors and just give people a namaste. Look each other in the eye and recognize and welcome each other. So we're going to turn to page 3 and sing We Have the Power.
I've lost that power. My words went
A little bit different than our big hugs. But we will get by. So we are going to introduce our wonderful Lenny Zeed and Corey Williams for a special song right now.
Thank you, Mary, and I so echo your gratitude in opening. I'm so grateful to be here with all of you and to play with Corey. So now I'll ground myself. Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me, as me. Where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me, as me. And where I doubt, God is faith in me. Where I cry, God is my comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer, here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak, truth is. Where I work, love is my career. Where I as me. Oh, oh, do 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 do. Oh, 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 where I am, where I stand, where I play, where I work and breathe and move and be, where I sing, where I dance, my dance, wherever I go, where I pray and take and give and live. God is, God is, God is, God is.
Now is the time in our service when we pause to bless our tithes and offerings. We know at the fellowship that abundance is the flow of divine energy. And it's important that we take this time to really be grateful for all of the generous donations that come to the fellowship and for all of our own gifts and blessings in our lives. So I invite you right now to join me as we read the blessing. You'll find it on your order of service. The light of divine love shines eternally, blessing and multiplying your tithes and offerings. I joyously give, knowing I always have enough to share and to spare. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's time for another fellowship song, so if you'll stand and turn to page 25 in your songbook. It's in every one of us.
It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything
seated. That sounded wonderful. I think I even heard some harmony in there. That was great. Thank you so much. So now we're going to have our message this afternoon, and I'm very, very happy to introduce to you our speaker, our own Reverend John Taylor. He is a graduate of the Fellowship School of Ministry, and somebody that we know we can always count on for something interesting and vibrant and memorable. So thank you, John, and let's give John a warm welcome.
Hi everyone, how's it going? So this will be actually the first time I'm talking in front of people because I got ordained and then COVID happened, and so it's kind of like riding the pine there for like 2 years, and then I did a couple of talks over at the fellowship office, so this is new. And one of the things I've always believed is when you're doing one new thing, kind of forced isn't the right word, but look, when you're doing one new thing, it's easy to do a second new thing alongside it. Like, so, for example, I recently had a friend who started a new job, and he smoked cigarettes. And, you know, we get on him about quitting. I mean, no judgment, no moral message. If you're there, you're there. But, you know, we want him to live, you know, so there's that. And, basically, he started a new job, and I said, maybe you should quit cigarettes while you're starting the new job, because believe it or not, there's a lot of scientific research about when you're in a place of high malleability, doing new things, trying new habits, new routines, new schedules, you don't lean so hard into your old habits and your old routines. Okay, so that brings me into what we're talking about today, life without labels. All right, what does that even mean? It's kind of, when I was Googling this, a lot of self-helpy kind of new agey people really lean into that. You know, it's like, oh, well, who would you be if you weren't defining yourself? And the first person I really heard talking a lot about this was Wayne Dyer, and that was a long time ago. That was back in the early 2000s when he was doing No Limit Person. I mean, that audio home study course was from the 1980s, and I got it in the year 2000. So that means this isn't a new concept. It's a concept that I think is really important. Because I'm looking around at the world today, and it seems like people are trying to find comfort in camping up, in exclusivity, and labeling themselves and the people that they're supposed to be with, and the beliefs they're supposed to have. And so, you know, I just think that's crazy. I think that's nuts. I mean, so for example, my son was showing me a video on TikTok the other day where someone was like, yeah, let's get all the comments about the cat army out there and show all the people that like dogs that they're really messed up. And I was like, this is batshit crazy. We do not need additional ways to segment ourselves. You know what I mean? If you're an animal lover, that already tells me something about you. You know, why would you taint it with my choice is better than yours? And so, right. I guess, you know, well, the obvious answer is infighting is good for business. You know, I mean, there's a lot of products to be sold if you're scared of the guy sitting next to you. And, so there was this show I used to watch on Adult Swim called Frisky Dingo, okay? And it's free now. Look it up, because it's funny. And basically the entire story was about this guy who's like Batman. He's like a multi-billionaire, and he likes going around fighting crimes. And he sees all this as this big business write-up. And the entire story is about him trying to invent a villain. Trying to find someone, because you can't be a superhero without having someone to fight. You need to get out there and have your enemy and thwart them from robbing a bank. And this is and the bad guy is a blind guy that just wants to take a nap and get some raisin toast. I mean, it was crazy to me, but there's a lot of wisdom in that, because it seems look, if you're fabricating a hero, you've also got to fabricate a villain. And so this brings me to the whole labeling concept. A lot of us as kids, I'll speak for myself, as a kid, most of my labels were imposed by my family. And they were imposed by the way my family thought life is best handled. I think of it a lot as like maybe being dragged to like an idea labeled buffet, where you're there with your parents and they're kind of dragging you along, and like they're like, do you like sweet potatoes? You're like, no, not really. Boom, like that. You know, they just plop it right on your tray, and on you go. And your labels are kind of given to you. I think some of us, if we're kind of thinking a little bit, there's probably an operating system that's put in place really early in our lives that shapes what we think we will and will not become in our life. So I was talking to Rich a little bit a few weeks ago. He said that talks have more meaning if you share something personal. So I'll share something personal about me. Can I get my tea, please? I'm like, wait, when I talk, I get it. Sorry, everybody. I know, I suck. Like, here, just, that should, like, yeah, see, if I was better at this, I would have remembered that, but, you know, deal with it. Anyway, so, like, the thing was this. He was talking about sharing a personal story. And I remember as a kid having, like, these, like, I remember when I was in school as a young kid in elementary school, the thing that was really coming online was, like, standardized testing. We really got to, like, get a test, have a bunch of really smart people from Columbia and Harvard come up with it, and then just mass produce this to like every kid in the country to see who the duds are. You know what I mean? Because we don't want the duds, like, you know, accomplishing too much. And, you know, I took this test and said, yeah, you're a dud. You've got dyslexia, ADHD, hyperactivity, you can't read good. And furthermore, this was always an interesting thing, like looking at this now in like the light of an adult, like, part of this was what jobs you would be suitable for in real life as a kid, like them telegraphing what you're gonna do. And for me, it was like nothing against it, but it was like, yeah, you'll be like the guy that like shovels the sludge out of the garbage truck. And I was like, damn. And this was like an annoyance to me, but this crushed my parents. They responded to this in all the ways that scared people do. They doubled down on tutors, they got hyper involved with my studies to the point of being really, you know, if you don't get an A on every single subject, you're not gonna make it in life. You know, the Ritalin and all that other nice stuff that, you know, taught me when you're feeling different, you should definitely self-medicate to get rid of that, you know. Just in case we were all wondering about medicating an entire generation of young kids and what that's done to our ideas of being different, how to handle that. And so, right, like, this was a really scary thing for me, because for a very long time, this was an essential part of my operating system. Like, when people talked to me about what I was going to do in life and who I was going to be in life, I always had to hold it up against this label that was professionally assigned to me. Like, sometimes, I bump into people and like they say things like, well, you know, I've got bipolar or I've got some other thing that's going on in my life and it really hurts me. And I sympathize. I'm not a doctor, I'm not trying to dismiss where anyone's at, but I also know that these labels that we come up with, medical, personal, spiritual, whatever, they're man-made. And because they're man-made, they're infallible. They're not perfect. And so are the people in the industries that are assigning them to people. So there's always room to question. So how does this get back to a spiritual place? Well, like, show of hands, who here knows about Ram Dass? Who here knows? Great, awesome. So I'll spare you the backstory. Being somebody. How do you be somebody? Well, I would say that probably one of the main ways you reinforce your somebodyness, your individuality, is through the labels we assign to ourselves and the labels that we assign to other people. I think one of the things that really hit me pretty hard was about 2 weeks ago, we were told a message about how the people that we disagree with, the people that we see sowing the seeds of hate and mistrust in the world, those are the ones that need the most love. And boy, oh boy, is that hard to do sometimes. That's a difficult order. I personally struggle with that. Because this all is fine as like an academic conversation, but what if you assign a label to yourself and the cornerstone of that label is oppressing someone? You know, like that's when it gets real. That's when it goes out into the real world and people feel threatened and they get hurt and they team up. And You know, whether it's two kids shoving each other in a playground or countries deciding to hurl nuclear bombs at each other, every single conflict is rooted in separation, and it is rooted in fear. And a lot of the fear comes from people not able to connect and draw these hard battle lines. And it was so awesome to have the song be one about mastermind and looking and harnessing your energy. Because I truly believe if we approached every person from a place of connectivity and love and unity, a lot of these things that we would see on the planet that seem so big and so insurmountable, they'd be handled in a fortnight. They'd be done in 2 weeks. Like, we have everything we need. We have everything we need to change the world. Like, it's already out there. The machines have been invented. The thinking is out there. We are on, and what a time to be alive, right? Like, there's so much old negative energy that is literally swirling the toilet of, like, the world. It is almost gone. But right when it gets down to that bottom point, it starts moving faster, and it looks like this is all, like, you know, there's a golden lining for being alive right now, because we are in a state of great transition. Some people are shedding these labels, they're shedding these camps, they're redefining who they can be and what they can be. I mean, I see it more and more with the younger generation. Like, my son, he's 15. Holy crap. Like, he's talking about, like, spiritual concepts that were inaccessible to me growing up Roman Catholic. I mean, basically, that whole thing was, you'll spend your life earning your way back to the cool kids table. I was like, all right, sure, I guess. Like, you know, like he's talking about how there's a unity between all living plants and animals and beings, and that's why he wants to be plant-based and vegan in his, like, dietary choices. Like, new things are coming online that are liberating consciousness. And so if you're a little further down the path and you see people on the news, which, by the way, don't watch the news ever. like, don't do it. Like, yeah, like, if it's big enough, you'll be informed, trust me. Like, yeah, like, you know, you just can set down some of these things. I think one of the things I definitely want to talk about was this story that was shared with me about how in the Civil War it was like one of the really nasty ones. It was like Gettysburg or Antietam or one of these like horrible battles where like something inconceivable, like 30,000 people dying in like 2 days or something like that. And like how there's this big battle and then 50 years go by and these veterans that fought in this war, like they go back to the battlefield and they kind of reassemble the southern guys on one side, the northern guys on the other, and they kind of stride out, and instead of fighting, they hug each other. And I'm sure it was very emotional. A lot of tears, a lot of feels. I think every single conflict can be healed with time, but I think we can reduce the amount of conflicts that we need to heal in time. But by being open with every single meeting, I mean, you know, I think of myself a lot in every way possible. You know, there's this saying in AA, which is, I'm not much, but I'm all I think about. And that's always been a big deal to me. I've always liked that one. But what I will say is this, you can decide how many labels you're putting up on people, and you can decide how much you're judging, and you can decide how much you're judging yourself, and then you can take steps to reduce it. It's like any other habit. And you can channel new pathways in your mind. I mean, this is a pretty sentient crowd here. A lot of people in this audience have been working on the self-realization thing for a minute. So this is not new, but as a fellow practitioner, I can tell you that I think a lot of new and really exciting stuff is coming online because people are choosing to think of the world differently. Because people are choosing to think of themselves differently. And so that's really what I wanted to talk about today. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed kind of coming up with it. So how about we do a meditation, and It's going to be a good one because we're going to think about what labels we want to set down. What rocks are in the backpack. So, thank you, Corey. All right, let's just stop, please, and feel our weight in the chair. Just may take a nice, big, deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling fully through the mouth. Oh. You can make some sound when you're breathing out if you wish. And one more. Our personalities, who we think we are, it's a lot like a sandcastle. Spend a lot of time building it, spend a lot of time maintaining it, being proud over it. But there's a tide that washes in and renews all things, and washes out everything that's outlived its usefulness. I want you to think for a moment now. Take a little journey inside. Every one of us has been living life for a long time now, and there's been moments in our lives where we've been told who we could be, what we could be, what's off limits to us, and what we should do. Some of these are helpful. Some of these ideas can really help motivate us to reach. Others not so much. Others are really unskillful. So in a movement of compassion, in a movement of being kind to you, just select one of those ideas that you have about yourself that maybe feels a little outdated. I'm absolutely sure that when you picked it up, there was a reason for it. It probably was there to protect you and help you. But maybe it's time to relax your grip. Maybe it's time to question just a little bit more and think just a little bit less. And just embrace and love what is. Breathe into that, please. Just a little bit. Loving what is. So many spiritual luminaries have told us and asked us to consider this. And it's not far. You could do that right here and now. Welcoming hands stretch out to help you along the path. Other people who've gone before you hold a lantern to light your way and guide you with love and peace towards disassembling anything and everything you see about yourself critically. And from me to you, please, please know that you are lovable right now as you are. And I love you just as you are. Breathe into that, please. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Feeling it down in the heart. Exhaling softly and gently. Let's just start landing the plane, taking another deep breath. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. And maybe as we're discharging the energy around that label, we can just thank it for all it's done for us. Letting it go with love and wisdom and peace. And just let it just coast right down that river of consciousness. Bye-bye now. Gently wiggling your fingers and toes. Gently maybe shifting your shoulders a touch in your seat. Gentle movement. guess we're gonna sing our thoughts and prayers now. All right. We can do the thoughts and prayers, please? Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Thank you so much. For years I would talk about how I wanted to change the world, but I always left it up for someone else to do. Then I finally realized I needed to take a stand, that by changing my thinking I could change my life, and that's how I could change the world. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world. Please join us. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand. I'm gonna stand and be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be
so much, Winna Lee and Corey, for the beautiful music. And I said it last week, I'll say it again, I just forgot how wonderful the music sounds in person. It's just incredible. And thank you, John. You wake me up. You wake me up inside. And I thank you for that. When I thought I was awake, you wake me up. Such a good message. And when you were talking about habits and changing habits, I remember before COVID, I used to every Sunday love to think a little bit before service about everyone all of our fellowshipians, stopping what they were doing, getting ready to come to service, getting in their cars and coming wherever we were meeting from, north, south, east, and west to join together in this community. And you made a good point. We have a 2-year habit of not coming. And so we're going to have to develop that muscle again of joining together and remembering just how valuable it is and lovely and heartwarming it is to be together. I certainly know that there are people who can't be here with us, and I appreciate that, and that's why we do the virtual service as well. But if you can, start creating that new habit for yourselves, because we would certainly love to see you. One just quick announcement, we are planning to have a St. Patrick's Day dinner at the office, and that's going to be March 19th at 5 o'clock. So something to look forward to, another opportunity to see each other and get together. So now it's our peace circle and our closing blessing. I invite all of you here to make a circle, put a little distance between you. Those who are joining us virtually, please join us in spirit as we sing our peace song and say our closing blessing.
Sure.